We have leading the procession, the deans and directors in the university, the filing in. The national anthem. Funaab anthem. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please let's be seated. Once again, we are welcome to the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and most especially to the 90th Inaugural Lecture in the series of Inaugural Lecture of this university. So first of all, before we kickstart, permit me to introduce to us the members of the procession on this side of the hall. And first, I have our Vice-Chancellor, the person of Professor Oluwafemi Babatunde Kehinde. Please a round of applause for him. He's a fellow of the Genetic Society of Nigeria, fellow Institute of Health and Safety, and fellow Agricultural Society of Nigeria. Seated by his right-hand side is the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Development. Please let's welcome Professor Kola Adebayo. We also have our acting registrar here seated. Let's welcome Mrs. Oluwatoyin Morufat Daudu. Let's also welcome Mr. Olukayode Oshinuga, the acting bursar of the university. And next to his left-hand side is the university librarian, Dr. Abayomi Owolabi. We also have the chairman committees of deans and director, and also the dean, College of Animal Science and Livestock Production, Professor Olushiji Showande. Our inaugural lecturer of today is the dean of our college, but the spotlight on her today is as the inaugural lecturer, but not the dean. But representing that seat of dean is the deputy dean of that college. Please let's welcome Professor Moji Adegunwa. We also have the head of department of the inaugural lecturer from the Department of Tourism, from the Department of Hospitality and Tourism. Please let's welcome Professor Adegoke Bakare. Professor Adegoke Bakare is the chairman ceremonial committee of the university, the committee that is responsible for organizing programs like this. Used to be ubiquitous when the program is going on, but today it's on the seat. Also, Professor Moji Adegunwa, please let's welcome them once again. And for today, I want to believe everybody seated here is familiar with food and cannot do without food. Our inaugural lecturer of today is ready to demystify the safe journey of food from the farm to the fork. Please, to this end, we want to specially welcome all the way from the Department of Hospitality and Tourism, a trailblazer in our right, a beautiful and amiable, lovable academician and mother, our 90th inaugural lecturer. Please a round of applause for Professor Adebukunola Mobolaji Omemu. Please, you should expect that often, because the inaugural lecturer herself, apart from being the dean of our college, was once the dean of students. So you can expect more of that from the students when she mounts the podium. Thank you very much, ma'am. Also want to especially welcome the Omemu family, led by the inaugural lecturer's husband. Please, we appreciate and welcome Pastor Clement Amieyefa Omemu. And one last recognition before we proceed is somebody that brought out the inaugural lecturer from her shell. You can believe it's a gender-sensitive man, a one-time Vice-Chancellor of this university. Please let's welcome Professor Felix Kolawole Salako. And members of the College of Food Science and Human Ecology, please, we appreciate you. A round of applause for yourself. Deans and directors here seated, please, a round of applause for the deans and director. To this end, permit me to specially invite our Vice-Chancellor to come and give the citation of the inaugural lecturer. Please, a round of applause for Professor Oluwafemi Babatunde Kehinde.
Please be seated. Thank you, sir. The Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Development, the Acting Registrar of the University, the Acting Bursar, the University Librarian, the Inaugural Lecturer of today, Professor Adebukunola Mobolaji Omemu, the Dean, College of Food Science and Human Ecology, represented by the Deputy Dean, Deans of other colleges and directors of centers, Head Department of Hospitality and Tourism, other heads of departments and units, members of the University Senate, all academic and non-teaching staff, all special guests and friends of the university, members of the family and friends of the inaugural lecturer, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, great Funabites, great Funabites. At this juncture, I have the honor to invite the 90th Inaugural Lecturer of our university, Professor Adebukunola Omemu, to please stand and remain standing beside me here. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the 90th edition of the Inaugural Lecture Series of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. The inaugural lecturer of today, Professor Adebukunola Mobolaji Omemu, was born on December 26, 1969, to the family of Prince Adegbenga Adeshemowo and Mrs. Olabisi Adeshemowo of the Orimolusi royal family of Ijebu-Igbo, Ogun State. Her primary school education journey commenced at Okebola, Ibadan, and she completed it at St. James's Primary School, Idiape, Abeokuta, in 1981. She then pursued her secondary school education at Baptist Girls High School, Idiaba, Abeokuta, from 1981 to 1987. Following this, she attended Ogun State Polytechnic, now Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, Ojere, for her A-levels from 1987 to 1988. Professor Omemu earned her BSc in Microbiology from Ogun State University, now Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye, in 1992. Subsequently, after an NYSc in 1993, she enrolled at the then UNAB, now Funaab, for her MSc in Food and Industrial Microbiology, graduating in July 1997 as the first MSc student of UNAB. This notable achievement also marked her as the first MSc graduate from both her college, the former COLNAS, and the Department of Microbiology in UNAB. She also completed her PhD in Food and Industrial Microbiology in 2006, also at UNAB. Her work experience. Professor Omemu commenced her career as a graduate assistant in 1995 at the Department of Biological Sciences, University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and rose through the ranks to become a professor of food microbiology and safety on October 1, 2015. Professor Omemu was initially with the former College of Natural Sciences, but in 2012, she was seconded to the Department of Food Service and Tourism, which later became Hospitality and Tourism in the College of Food Science and Human Ecology, COLFHEC, where she remains to this day. Professor Omemu has received numerous scholarships and fellowships, including the NUFIC Fellowship to attend courses and training on food safety and quality management in Netherlands in 2008 and 2019. The Mashav Scholarship to attend the International Postgraduate Course at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, Rehovot Campus, Israel, in 2009. The CAS Tours Fellowship to participate in the training course on food biotechnology for developing countries in Beijing, China, in 2013, among others. Additionally, she has received various conference awards, enabling her to participate in and present papers at several national and international conferences within her area of research. Professor Omemu is one of the African women scientists who won the 2-year African Women in Agricultural Research and Development Award Postdoctorate Fellowship from 2010 to 2012, a program aimed at bridging the gender gap of leadership in agricultural research and development. She was mentored under this program, and she later served as a mentor. She also served as a mentor in the West Africa Microsurveyor initiatives from 2013 to 2014, and the award GRERD Funaab mentoring program. Professor Omemu has actively participated in various initiatives that promote food safety. She served as a Nigerian Assistant Program Coordinator and one of the facilitators for the 2 West African capacity building programs on food safety. The initiative, a joint partnership between the International Life Science Institute, the University of Ghana, Food Safety Training Center, and Funaab, ran from 2014 to 2018. Professor Omemu also served as a trainer in the Ogun State Homegrown School Feeding Program, providing training for food vendors in Ogun State on safe food handling practices. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Professor Omemu has supervised over 180 undergraduates, 15 MSc dissertations, and 3 PhD theses as a major supervisor, and several others as co-supervisor. She also has to accredit over 80 scientific publications. Professor Mobolaji Omemu has conducted external examinations and professorial assessments at the University of Ibadan, University of Lagos, University of Benin, Covenant University, Bells University of Technology, Babcock University, Macpherson University, and Olabisi Onabanjo University. She has also served as a member of the NUC accreditation panel for the accreditation exercise at the University of Calabar. She had a sabbatical appointment at the Department of Biological Sciences, Covenant University in Otta, from 2011 to 2012. Professor Bolaji Omemu has held many positions at the university level, including the Acting HOD, Department of Food Service and Tourism, 2012 to 2013, Acting HOD, Department of Hospitality and Tourism, 2013 to 2016, First Female Deputy Dean, Postgraduate School, 2017 to 2019, First Female Dean, Student Affairs, 2020 to 2023, Chairman, Board of Funaab University Guest House, 2017 to 2022, and currently serving as the Dean, College of Food Science and Human Ecology from 2024 January till date. At the university level, she has also served on several committees, some of which are member, Savicom in Funaab, member, University Senate, member, Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Formulation of Off-Campus Policy, member, Ad Hoc Committee on Student Union Matters, member, Appointments and Promotion Committee for Academic Staff, member, Search Committee for the appointment of Funaab Vice-Chancellor in 2023, Chairman, Committee on Review of Institutional Policy on Students with Disabilities. She's currently serving as a reviewer for some local and international journals. Membership of academic and professional bodies. Professor Mobolaji Omemu belongs to some professional bodies, including member, Nigerian Society of Microbiology, member, American Society for Microbiology, member, Society for Applied Microbiology, member, Nigerian Institute of Food Scientists, member, Hospitality and Tourism Association, Management Association of Nigeria, Hartman. Professor Omemu is a commissioned chaplain with the Ogun State chapter of the International Christian Chaplain Association, Massachusetts, in the United States of America. She's a member of the Boys Brigade and staff and staff advisor and patrons to some NGOs, including the Lead Heart Initiative and the Yemskill Foundation, among others. The inaugural lecturer of today is happily married to Pastor Clement Ameyefa Omemu, and the marriage is blessed with 4 children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to invite Professor Adebukunola Mobolaji Omemu, a professor of food microbiology and safety from the Department of Hospitality and Tourism, College of Food Science and Human Ecology, to present an inaugural lecture titled Safe Journey of Food from Farm to Fork. Thank you for your listening attention. God bless you all. Madam, congratulations. Back to you.
No. The Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Development, Registrar and other principal officers of the university, deans of other colleges, deans, student affairs and postgraduate school, directors of centers and institutes, head Department of Hospitality and Tourism, heads of other departments, distinguished members of the University Senate, distinguished academic and professional colleagues in Funaab and from other universities, all non-teaching staff, members of my immediate and extended families, special guests, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and great Funabites. Presenting an inaugural lecture is both a privilege and an obligation. It's a privilege because it signifies recognition of one's contribution in a particular field of study and provides a platform to share knowledge. It's also an obligation because it upholds academic traditions and presents an opportunity for town and gown meeting. I am thankful to God for granting me the grace to fulfill this obligation and also partake in this privilege. This inaugural lecture, Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, is a special one because it is the 90th in the series of Funaab Inaugural Lecture, the 7th from the College of Food Science and Human Ecology, and the 1st from the Department of Hospitality and Tourism. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, permit me to commence this lecture by talking about my journey of change from microbiology to hospitality. If I have to get paid for all the time I get that question of how did you end up in hospitality and tourism as a microbiologist, I'm sure I will probably be the richest professor in Funaab. So let's just clear it today. Change is the only constant in life, yet we often resist change due to preference for the familiar and fear of the unknown. I want to echo it that change has been a constant companion in my career journey in this institution. I actually came into Funaab as an MSc student, and I eventually graduated in 1997 as the first MSc student of Funaab. But I already began my career in 1995 as a graduate assistant in the Department of Biological Sciences. I later moved to the Department of Microbiology when the department had to stand on its own. At that point, I already envisioned all my career in the Department of Microbiology. But another change came in 2012, and I was seconded to the Department of Food Service and Tourism in another college. I resisted this particular change, but eventually, after advices and, from mentors and well-meaning people, I moved to the Department of Food Service and Tourism, where I immediately assumed the role of the head of department. While still trying to find my bearing in the new department, another change came calling just a year down the line in 2013, and this resulted in the renaming of the department to Hospitality and Tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important to note that all these transitions for me came with lots of questions and uncertainty at that time. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, my journey is a reminder that our career and lives are not necessarily bound by the path that we have initially set for ourselves, but they are shaped by our willingness to learn, to adapt, and to embrace changes. By embracing my change, I discover the joy of learning and the excitement of challenging myself. Now I know that my expertise as a microbiologist transcends departmental lines, and anywhere I find myself, it is an opportunity to make an impact. Though I am still on the journey, but looking back, there are so many twists and turns. But despite this, I experienced many firsts in my journey, right from being the first MSc student of Funaab, first head of Department Hospitality and Tourism, first professor from the Department of Hospitality and Tourism, first female deputy dean, postgraduate school, Funaab, first female dean, student affairs, first professor from the Department of Hospitality and Tourism to serve as the dean of COLFHEC. And today, I am highly honored to stand before you as the first professor from Hospitality and Tourism to present an inaugural lecture. To God alone be all the glory. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, while pursuing my PhD research at FIRO in Lagos State, the bustling street of Old Oshodi became my daily work. One day I saw market women cutting carrots, cucumber, lettuce in a very unsanitary manner, and they mixed them up as salad, put them inside nylon, and tied them up for sale. As a young girl just coming from Adebukunola, I was looking at them and I was wondering, who is going to buy this? But to my uttermost surprise, on my way back, all the salads were gone, and the women were preparing for more. And that brought a lot of things to my mind. This became my daily observation. My initial shock transformed into a spark of curiosity. I became more conscious of activities around the food put on sale, and right there in the heart of Old Oshodi, my passion for food safety and the influence of food handlers was born. Mr. Vice-Chancellor and dear esteemed guests, today I would like to present my reflections of food microbiology and safety, accumulated over 28 years in this inaugural lecture titled Safe Journey of Food from Farm to Fork. Please let's sit back and go on this journey with me. Introduction. Food is indispensable for survival and well-being. However, when food is contaminated, it becomes unsafe. Across local and global food system, it is a common saying that if it is not food, then it is not safe. If it is not safe, then it is not food. Unsafe food is known to contribute to over 200 diseases, ranging from diarrhea to cancer. According to WHO's reports, globally, on a yearly basis, an estimated 600 million people fall ill after eating contaminated food, leading to 420,000 deaths, out of which 125,000 are children below 5 years. Notably, about 75% of these deaths occur in South Asia and parts of sub-Saharan Africa, where we have Nigeria. Coming home to Nigeria, each year in Nigeria, over 200,000 individuals lose their lives as a result of consuming unsafe food. And I tell you, this is an underestimation. The farm-to-fork journey is also known as the food supply chain, and it is the process that describes how food moves from the farm to consumption by individual. And this journey involves a series of interconnected stages and various actors. Usually it will start from the farm, where production on the farm, and then the farm produce will be processed through fermentation, pasteurization, and other transformation processes. And then they will be distributed to various retailers in various outlets. Then consumer can access this product through market, restaurant, and cafeteria. And finally, consumer can prepare the food and consume according to their preference. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, at the core of this journey of food from farm to fork, there exists a delicate interaction between two major actors, microorganisms and humans. It is like a dance, and any misstep along the way can compromise the safety of our food. Vice-Chancellor, sir, in this inaugural lecture, I intend to focus on the contributions of humans and microorganisms in safe journey of food, particularly in the informal food sector. What do we mean by informal food sector? This is a sector that refers to various food-related activities and businesses operating outside formal regulation. This sector exists all over the world, and it includes both most subsistence farmers, small-scale food processors, street food vendors, and home-based food producers. They are typically family-run businesses, but they provide employment opportunity for many people. This kind of market significantly contributes to food security by serving as the primary source of food for many urban dwellers, offering lower prices, credit options, and easy access to food. But despite their roles in ensuring food security, this sector is a source of food safety concern globally because they usually operate in unclean environments, mostly without clean potable water, no waste disposal, and no sanitation facilities. And because of this, traditional effort in most African cities to ensure safety in this sector, they focus on reactive measures such as payment of fines, confiscation of goods, and even closure of markets, as seen in this picture, where Lagos State shut down Mile 12 Ketu Market because the market was too dirty. However, these methods have not yielded any lasting results because consumers continue to patronize these people, and so they still grow vibrant all over the globe. But in recent time, there's a new approach of supporting the informal food sector. Some governments, NGOs, and international organizations like FAO are now involved in training of vendors to improve hygiene practices. This approach seems to hold promise for a safer and more sustainable food system. According to the 2020 report of the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, achieving some of the SDG goals may be jeopardized if safety of food from farm to fork is not assured, especially SDG Goal 2 that talks about zero hunger, SDG Goal 3, 8, and 12, further emphasizing the importance of safety of our food from farm to fork. The United Nations declared June 7 of every year as World Food Safety Day, and that's just 2 weeks down the line. This event is a global reminder of the importance of safe food practices from farm to fork. And just for our information, the theme for the World Food Safety Day 2024 is out, and it is food safety, prepare for the unexpected. Now, microorganisms. Since I want to look at the role of microorganisms and human, what are microorganisms? They are microscopic living organisms that we cannot see with our naked eye, and they include bacteria, viruses, fungi, and the others. But despite their small sizes, they play major roles at various stages of the food supply chain, thus influencing safety. This is some of their contribution to food safety. Their contribution can be beneficial or it can be detrimental. In terms of beneficial, we have fermentation, which is an ancient technique that utilize microorganisms from the environment, from raw materials, from utensils. And during the fermentation, the organism can contribute to safety by altering the pH, suppressing the growth of pathogenic microorganisms, and also enhancing nutrient bioavailability. These are just common examples of some fermented food in Africa. You have tuber-based products like fufu and lafu, cereal-based products like ogi, legume-based products like iru and ogiri, and others. The detrimental contribution of microorganisms to food safety can be through microbial food spoilage and foodborne illnesses. Microbial food spoilage poses a food safety risk by promoting the growth of harmful microorganisms, leading to foodborne illnesses. And they can also produce toxin in the food, further increasing health risk. Now, what are the contributions of human to ensure safety in the journey of our food from farm to fork? In the journey of food from farm to fork, there are so many actors: farmers, fishermen, abattoir operators, retailers, food handlers, consumers, regulatory agencies, and even governments. And all these actors, they can contribute to safety beneficially, such as responsible agricultural practices right from the farm, and also adherence to safety standards along the chain. They can also be detrimental, such as pesticide misuse, food adulteration, and other unhealthy practices. Now, in Nigeria, we have witnessed a concerning rise in food safety issues in recent years, primarily as a result of unsafe practices by human beings along the chain. For example, Ibiom et al. In 2015 observed that in Nigeria, or reported in Nigeria, that some food vendors, they boil eggs with detergent and alum. This practice imparts an ashy appearance to the eggs and facilitates easier peeling of the eggs. But this will pose significant risk for consumers when these eggs are taken. And of course, there's no way you will know if they have used detergent to boil the eggs. Also, retailers and farmers also use unauthorized chemicals like sniper to preserve maize, beans, and dried yam chips that we popularly known as bojo. This contaminates the food item, posing safety risks for consumer, especially since most of these chemicals are not affected by cooking. So even if you cook, they are still going to be there. Now, many reports also says that we also see them on the roads. Many retailers, they use detergent and soap and even bleach to wash vegetables like oranges, carrots, cucumber, and tiger nuts. And many of us, we buy the carrots, on our way home, and then you begin to eat them. This is a cause for food safety, since the outer layer of the produce are porous and they can easily absorb these harsh chemicals. And the detergent and soap can also leave harmful residues on the fruits, resulting in gastrointestinal irritation, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea if ingested. And that's why consumers should try to wash the fruits with clean water before consuming. Also, retailers and now this picture shows a group of women washing bitter leaf that is popularly used to prepare the onugbu soup in a very muddy water from a dirty stream in Akwa, Anambra State. And after washing it in this market, they will carry it in this river, they will carry it to the market and people will buy. And some may not even wash, they will just cook it like that. Afuel et al. In 2022 reported that many household and food vendors cook meat with paracetamol to soften the meat on time. Even in 2019, NAFDAC also issued a public alert regarding this hazardous practice. Because during cooking, paracetamol is not meant to be cooked, but during cooking, the paracetamol hydrolyzes into a toxic compound which can potentially damage the liver and kidney, resulting in organ failure. Research also shows that some individuals mix palm oil with an industrial oil used in soap production to increase the volume of the oil. Also, Sudan 4 dye is commonly used to enhance the color of most of the palm oil in the market. And the use of Sudan 4 dye has been banned in most countries because it is classified as a group 3 carcinogens linked to bladder and liver cancers in animals. Kola Ajibade in 2021 also established that consumption of palm oil adulterated with this dye over time can be the basis of several pathological conditions such as oxidative stress, cancers, aging, joint arthritis, and infertilities in males. Other reported harmful practices, there are so many of them. Misuse of pesticides, antibiotics, and fertilizers. If you go to our market, you see women selling chicken. They have one bag of antibiotics that they give to the chicken arbitrarily. All these things are cause for concern. Then the use of calcium carbide is also very common in ripening fruits so that the fruit can ripen on time. Then a lot of people also reduce the fermentation time for products like ogi and cassava. All these things have safety implications. Now, we may begin to think that they do all these things all the time because of monetary gain. But Adebukunola in 2020 reported that 20 sellers were arrested in Gombe and they were handed over to NAFDAC for adulteration of palm oil. When interviewed, this is their response. I will read it. They said, we put the color so that we can get patronage. If it is not red, they will not buy it. We don't put the color to increase quantity, but we put it to get patronage. And we also consume the oil and we have not experienced any health issues. So as far as they are concerned, that action is justified because they are not doing it for gain. But whether they are doing it ignorantly or they are doing it deliberately, some of these unsafe practices have led to reported illnesses and deaths in Nigeria. For example, in Cross River State, In 2008, 112 people were hospitalized and 2 children died after consuming moi moi and beans. And when NAFDAC carried out reports, they found out that the beans that they use in the preparation of the moi moi and then the beans itself contain high level of gamalin, which may have been used to preserve the beans from weevil attack, maybe from the farm. Also in Okoloke village in 2017, 62 people died after consuming contaminated meats. And of course, initially without investigation, it was reported as strange illness, strange outbreak. But later, after investigation, they found out that it was as a result of unsafe food practices right from the abattoir. This incident exposed critical gap in our food safety monitoring system. Also in Kano, 10 people died while several were hospitalized after drinking expired fruit juices. This underscored the critical need for consumers to diligently check expiration dates and refrain from consuming any product after the expiration date. In Kano and Ilorin, they also reported the hospitalization of some families after consuming amala from Lafu and then amala from Godo. And investigation shows that it was as a result of chemicals that were used during the production of the Godo and then on improper fermentation of the Lafu. My research focus and contributions to knowledge. My research activities are grouped into 3 for the purpose of this research, for this lecture. The first one is microbiology and safety of some traditional fermented foods. The second one is safety of food on the table, on the farm, and on the street. The third one is food handlers and food safety. My research here focused on the microbial dynamics and safety of some traditional fermented food like ogi, lafu, elubo, iru, ogiri, and others. Cooked ogi, as most of us will know, it's a fermented cereal for maize and sorghum, and it is widely used as winning food. Although yeast are known to be involved in the fermentation of ogi, but there is depth of information on their role. So Omemu, Oyewole, Bankole 2007A, and Omemu 2010 studied the contributions of yeast during ogi fermentation. What we did was to isolate yeast involved in the fermentation of ogi. Then we identified the yeast, and then we screened them for the production of some extracellular enzymes like amylase, esterase, lipase, and phytase. And our result shows that representative of all the yeast species isolated exhibited lipase and esterase activity. So the production of esterase suggests that yeast may play a role in determining the aroma and flavor of ogi. Also, Saccharomyces cerevisiae and Candida krusei produce amylase, suggesting their contribution to breaking down starch in maize into simple sugars for other microorganisms to make use of. All the yeast isolates except Rhodotorula graminis and Geotrichum fermentan were able to degrade phytate. Phytic acid is widely found in cereal, and it acts as anti-nutrient, diminishing the bioavailability of essential nutrients. So the ability of this yeast to degrade the phytate will allow better access to these nutrients, and it will be beneficial to the consumers of ogi. Now, due to the tedious processing method of ogi, a lot of us usually prepare the ogi in bulk, and then we store at home, and then at interval, we try to change the sour water on the ogi. But research has shown that changing the water, remove most of the nutrients that are already in the ogi. And if the water is not changed, the ogi is susceptible to fungal contamination. So Omemu Bankole Oyewole and Akintoku 2007B, Omemu 2011, and Omemu et al. 2015 identified the fungi that were associated with stored ogi using parameters described by Teniola and Odunfa. Our result shows that Candida species dominated during the storage period, and this was marked by a rapid decrease in acidity. Candida has been implicated in decreasing the acidity of fermented food, thereby promoting the growth of spoilage organisms. We also observed discoloration of the mold, which coincided with mold isolation. This suggests that the mold contributed to ogi discoloration. Some of the mold isolated were Aspergillus niger, Aspergillus flavus, Rhizopus nigricans, and Penicillium species. This has implications for safety because these molds are known for their ability to produce mycotoxins, which can be toxic to humans and livestock, even in small concentration. So from these findings, consumers should always ensure that raw ogi is stored in ways to prevent fungal growth. We heard that some people, and I'm sure quite a number of people here, when they have they use wet ogi, raw ogi, to manage diarrhea or to reduce frequency of stooling. Some people use gari, some people use ogi. So based on this, Omemu and Faniro in 2011, Omemu et al. 2012, Falana and Kole Omemu and Oyewole 2012 and 2016, carried out series of studies to determine whether microorganisms in ogi can actually inhibit the growth of some of these diarrhea-causing microorganisms. We use test culture, Ecology ATCC 25922 and Salmonella abatetuba ATCC 35460, and we use commercial antibiotics as control. The result of the study indicated that whether you use white or yellow maize, it does not really affect the antimicrobial activity of the ogi, that the ogi will still show the antimicrobial activity irrespective of the color of the maize. But we noticed that the microorganisms isolated from ogi and omidum, they have varied antibacterial activities against the tested organism. However, Lactobacillus plantarum was able to inhibit the growth of the diarrhea-causing microorganism, surpassing even those of commercial antibiotics. So this suggests that the efficacy of raw ogi or omidum to control some form of diarrhea may be attributed to the antimicrobial activities of the microorganisms present, especially lactic acid bacterial group of microorganisms. Safety assessment of yam and cassava products. Yam are highly perishable, hence they are processed into dried chips known as bodo, which are then milled into yam flour. Lafu is also white elubo obtained from traditional fermentation of cassava, drying and milling. But these products are usually processed by rural processor using non-standardized method, thus raising safety concern. Then there are also reports of high rate spoilage of lafu. Particularly, we noted that quite a number of people don't even eat lafu because they complain that when they eat it, they will begin to have stomach upset or something of that nature. So, Shomoni, Bankole, and Omemu in 2011, Adebayo Oyetoro, Oyewole, Obajina, and Omemu 2013, Omohimi et al. In 2019, evaluated the safety of Godo, Lafu, and Elubo from processors and market sample. Our results show that drying was a major concern. When the Godo did not dry properly, it will become moldy. And sometimes when you visit some of these markets in the morning, the market women, they will wash the the Godo that is already moldy, and they will re-dry it again. But the truth is, some of these microorganisms produce toxin. So whether you wash off the microorganisms or not, the toxin is already in the products, and this is a cause for concern. We also use milling machine from the market to mill some of the Godo, and then we brought some to the laboratory and milled with machine that has been cleaned and sterilized. And we found out that the ones that were milled in the market, of course, they had higher microbial load than the one we milled in the laboratory. And then we observed, we attributed this to some of the unhygienic practices that we observe in the market. When you go to the market where they mill these things, you see that they will first break the Godo on the floor. They will break them on the floor before packing them into the washing machine, into the milling machine. And then all the lafu and elubo on the floor will eventually be packed, and they will add them to the batch that they will be taking to the market. Then we also observe that the machines, they are really washed. They are really washed, and then you have residual buildup, which can also contribute to cross-contamination. Then when you go through the old road to Lagos, you see a lot of people processing this lafu. They usually, spread them by the roadside. And vehicular emission, as a result of this practice, may also contribute to the observed chemical contamination. Additionally, when we interact with some of the processor, they confirm that they usually shorten the fermentation time because they have high demands from customers. So this practice is of safety concern because we know that cassava contains cyanide, and if it is not properly fermented, some glucoside can remain unconverted, raising the risk of cyanide poisoning upon consumption. We recommended the provision of modern dryers, maybe solar dryer or a drying center in some of these community to help them in the drying process, because whether we like it or not, they are the one in charge of these things. Then education of processor is also advised. Iru and ogiri are two commonly consumed traditional condiments from fermented locust bean and melon. From the grants of South African National Research, Ademola Adeyemi, Obajina Shomori Omemu, Oluwafemi and Oyewole in 2017 and 2018 assessed the bacterial diversity and mycotoxin contamination of Iru, ogiri, locust beans, and melon seed. Our result shows that Bacillus and Staphylococcus species dominated in Iru and Ogiri and their raw seed. Then 7 mycotoxins were quantified in the sample. Melon and Ogi had detectable aflatoxin level, whereas the locust beans and Iru did not. Generally, the mycotoxin level were really low, but isolation of potentially pathogenic microorganisms indicated poor hygienic practices during production. And even though we use this thing as condiment, some people eat them even before cooking. Some people, munch on them before cooking. So there's a need to educate processors and vendors of this condiment on good hygiene and processing practices. Safety of food on the farm. Food safety and hygienic practices are good agricultural practice with bias for food safety on the farm. The concept of FSH evolved recently as a result of concern about food safety and the environmental sustainability of agriculture. So with the support of Microsalvia Fellowship, Oyinlola Obadino Omemu and Oyewole in 2017, investigated the effect of adoption of food safety and hygienic practices by lettuce farmer on the microbial safety of field source lettuce in Lagos State. We use farms that receive technical support from Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture. Then samples of ready-to-harvest lettuce, manure, and irrigation water were obtained for a period of 5 months, and they were tested for various microbial indicators. Our findings shows that 70% of the farmers applied raw cow dung, and 53 used raw poultry dropping, but none of them used human waste. Lower microbial counts were observed in farms that make use of FSH compared to the other one. But we noticed that most of them, they stored their manure near source of irrigation water. So it was not surprising that their irrigation water did not meet the minimum criteria for fresh produce irrigation as per WHO standard. But none of them cleaned their containers before reusing them. Additionally, we noticed that Listeria species in the lettuce sample exceeded satisfactory limits, and this is of safety concern, because consumption of vegetables contaminated with high level of Listeria monocytogenes can pose serious risk, particularly to pregnant women, and it can lead to miscarriages, stillbirths, or premature delivery. And of course, when this happens, nobody is thinking of the vegetables that the woman has consumed. So this study highlights the importance of food safety and hygiene practices on the farm to minimize contamination risk in ready-to-eat vegetable. Yeah, this is ready-to-eat food. Ready-to-eat food are food that are prepared and packaged for immediate consumption without further cooking. They are very convenient, but their safety can be compromised during preparation. So Omemu, Edema, and Bankole in 2015 investigated the bacterial status of ready-to-eat vegetables and prepackaged salad sold in Lagos. We had high counts of aerobic bacteria and coliform, which is an indication of poor handling and fecal contamination. And then we isolated bacteria of food safety concern. And some of the practice that we observe is that many of these women, they have this I call it all-purpose wrapper that they wrap once they get to the market. And they use this wrapper to do everything from cleaning their baby's mouth to even clean the knife that they will eventually use to slice the vegetable. And these are then common bacterial species detected were Staphylococcus and some other ones. And this pose significant safety implications for consumers. Considering our findings, caution is advised when consuming prepackaged salads, especially those sold by street vendors. It is advisable to purchase from reputable stores with good hygiene standards, or you prepare your own from home. Safety assessment of street vended, ready-to-eat indigenous snacks. These are common snacks, adun, donkwa, and kulinkuli. They are snacks that are common in West Africa and particularly amongst school children. So their safety is important. Ojo et al. 2017, Omemu Obadino and Onifade 2013, Omemu et al. 2023 assessed the safety of these street vended snacks. And our results, of course, found a lot of contaminants. Like we have physical contaminants like sand and the animal hair. We found out that many of them, they use sand in roasting, and this can contribute to the sand that was found as contaminant. Then some of them also handle the produce, like the donkwa is usually rolled with the palm and is not going to be cooked before further eating. So this can increase the risk of contamination. Lead, arsenic, and cadmium level also exceeded permissible level. Generally, the study highlights the lack of control over physical, chemical, and microbiological hazards. So while these traditional snacks offer a delightful culinary experience, consumers should be mindful of purchasing them from reputable sources that prioritize hygiene and safety. You actually have some processors that are very hygienic in the processing. Food handlers and food safety, that's the third one. We had a preliminary investigation in 2005, and we found out that street vendors in Ogun State are supposed to go to selected hospital to carry out medical tests, and then they will give them a medical certificate, which they are supposed to keep and then renew every year. So based on this, Omemu and Adeosun 2008, Bankole Omemu and Oladimeji 2009 assessed whether food vendors in Abeokuta actually carry out this annual examination. We use food handlers from the street, from the restaurant, and from hotel. And most times when we go for the research, we have an health officer from the Ministry of Health accompanying us to request the health certificate. Our study found out that none of the hawkers that we interacted with did the medical checkup, possibly due to ignorance or illiteracy. Then between 15 to 66% of vendors by the roadside, canteen, and restaurant actually did the test, while 100% of food handlers from hotel had the medical certificate, suggesting that, well, they probably did the test. This is probably because this is compulsory under Nigerian law for establishment of hotel. Your food handlers in hotels must do the test. Omemu Aderoju in 2008 and Omemu Anoileye 2014 conducted a survey to assess the food safety knowledge and attitude of street food vendors in Abeokuta. Our results show that most of them only had primary school education, and they acquired their knowledge of food preparation through observation rather than formal education. And many of them, they prioritize economic gain over public health. Hence, even when they are visibly sick and they have symptoms like diarrhea, fever, vomiting, they will still continue to handle food. Many of them believe that their culinary prowess will outweigh the transmission of any disease. And this is worrisome because such handlers can spread communicable infection through food if proper personal hygiene is not observed. We also observed that though the street food vendors, they were aware of the importance of hand washing, but they often struggle to implement it consistently. This could be due to limited access to water. Most of them don't have access to water, toilet facilities, or hand washing facilities in their vending site. Consequently, many of them make use of makeshift toilets, and they don't even have enough water to do proper hand washing. Many of them also reuse water, particularly for cleaning utensils. The picture you have here is one of the back end of the booker. This water, they were using it to wash plates. If you were to carry out microbiological analysis of the plate before washing and after washing, you will probably have more microorganisms after washing than before washing. So this suggests the need to implement a code of practice and provision of education for street food vendors to improve food safety. Now, to compare our findings on the streets, Omemu et al. 2014 and 2015 study food safety practice of food handlers in selected hotels, restaurants, and eateries to assess if the handlers' knowledge translates to action. Our results show that 53% of the respondents in the hotels and the eateries, they had polytechnic or university education, unlike the street food vendors. Also, about 70% of them acquired their knowledge of food preparation through formal training. And it is worth noting that most of them exhibited good knowledge and practice of hand washing. And this could be attributed to the ready availability of water and toilet facilities in the surveyed outlets. The hands of food handlers are critical in the spread of foodborne illness. This our hand can go anywhere. You will use this hand to scratch your nose, use it to scratch your eyes, use it to touch your mouth. And so Omemu and Oladimeji in 2009, Bankole Omemu and Oladimeji 2009, Omemu and Oleyede 2014 assessed the microorganisms on the palm of LD handlers as well as in the stool of LD handlers. We use LD handlers because several studies have implicated asymptomatic carriers as source of food contamination. They are worse because they are not sick, and so as long as they are not sick, they do their business. And so we use supposedly healthy handlers. We collected palm swab and stool samples, and our results show that half of the food handlers tested positive for enteric bacteria in their stool sample, with E. coli, Klebsiella, and Salmonella being the most prevalent, and this is of safety concern. Then microbial contamination found on the hands of food vendors in hotels and restaurants were significantly lower compared to the other food vendors. Maybe as a result of some of the things I've mentioned earlier, they have a cleaner environment and they have the facilities to take care of them. But the presence of coliform and vibrio species on some handlers indicates fecal contamination, possibly due to the use of makeshift toilets and limited access to water. Overall, this study highlights that the hands of food handlers can bear foodborne microorganisms and they may transmit to consumer if proper hygiene is not followed. So educating food handlers and provision of basic sanitation amenities is recommended. Now, several studies have indicated that a notable number of foodborne illnesses originate from home kitchen practices. A lot of people believe that because they prepare their food at home, it is clean it cannot is not contaminated. So Omemu et al. In 2011 investigated food safety practices of mothers and the contamination of traditional meals for young children in some rural areas in Nigeria. And our findings reveal that 85% of the mothers actually wash their hands before handling food to be given to their children. Although the usage of soap was limited, but at least they washed their hands. They also made efforts to ensure good hygiene throughout the food preparation. But the contamination that we observe on the food was mostly through food storage and reheating. When people prepare food, we tend to store them for more than 4 to 6 hours, and this gives rooms for proliferation of bacteria that is already in the food. So we then suggested that educating individuals about temperature control, proper storage, and reheating of food is crucial for global food safety. My human capacity building. Now, capacity building activity in Funaab involves supervision, training, and mentorship. In my journey, I have supervised more than 180 undergraduates, 15 MSc, and 3 PhD as major supervisor, and also several others as co-supervisors. And to say that some years ago, I supervised the BSc project of a young chap called Oloyede. I used to call him Oloye. And today, he's the Deputy Dean of the College of Biological Sciences, or Biosciences. In terms of mentorship and professional development, I also had the privilege of mentoring several mentees, both formally and informally, and they are all doing well in their field of choice. As a fellow of award, I had the privilege of formally mentoring Ms. Bidemi Egbotan. Now she is Dr. Mrs. Ojo, shortly after her first degree, and today she flourishes as a lecturer in the Department of Microbiology of this same university. Years later, through the award grad Funaab mentoring program, I was also assigned as a mentor to Engineer Babatunde Kehinde. I also served as a mentor to Latifat under the Microservia Global Fellowship Initiative from 2013 to 2014 during our MSc program. Then, because of her outstanding work, nurtured through mentorship, our result was selected for presentation by USAID and NASA in Florida, USA in April 2014. She had since completed her master's and PhD, and she's presently a university lecturer, and I'm sure she's watching somewhere around the globe there. Based on my presentation so far, it is clear that training and retraining is vital to ensure safety from farm to fork. In training, I have served as Nigerian Program Assistant Coordinator for Food Safety Capacity Building Program in West Africa. And this initiative ran annually from 2014 to 2018, and we trained over 200 food handlers, caterers, food safety officers from different local governments, nurses, nutritionists, and also small business owners. I also serve as a facilitator for the Ogun State Homegrown School Feeding Program, providing training for food vendors across the state on hygiene standard and safe food handling practices. In conclusion, food safety is a shared journey from farm to fork. It is not a destination. It is a journey where everyone involved play their role. And like one of the team of the World Food Safety Day in 2000 says, food safety is everybody's business. Recommendation. Now, still on conclusion, imagine a relay race where the baton representing safe food is passed from one participant to the next. A weak link or fumble will disrupt the entire race. Just like a lapse in food safety at any stage can lead to contamination and illness. But by working together, each stakeholder can strengthen the chain and our food can arrive safely on our tables. Recommendations. Government and policy makers should set food safety rules, train professionals, and support sustainable farming. Particularly at the local government level, they should implement policies and programs that is aimed at creating enabling and condition for the informal food sector so that they can thrive and they can thrive safely. Then the media, they should serve as watchdogs and communicators. They should create public awareness about safe food handling practices. They can have programs maybe like cartoon for children so that they can understand safe food practices right from their tender age. June 7, the World Food Safety Day is just by the corner. Our media can use that opportunity to create such awareness. Institutions like Funaab can also have a food safety training center that is obtainable. It's obtainable in some institutions, not Nigeria that I know of, and where handlers can be trained on food safety practices. And we can start by training and certifying existing food handlers on our campus. Because people just come in, they take shops, and they just decide to be cooking. Nobody is monitoring what they are doing. I think we can start from there. And also as consumers, you should safeguard yourself by making safe choices from farm to fork. Acknowledgments. God continued to work miracles in my life. And for this, I am eternally grateful. I am grateful to God for bringing me this far. And I say to him alone be all the glory. I express my heartfelt gratitude to my parents, and they are here today, even though my dad is frail. But when he heard that I'll be having my inaugural lecture, he received his divine strength, and he's here today. I want to thank my dad, Prince Adebukunola, and my mom, Miss Olabisi Adeshemowo, for instilling in me the values of perseverance and dedication, which has propelled me to this momentous occasion. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am. I am truly blessed to have the best siblings in the world. And I say thank you to all my siblings and their spouses, Pastor and Pastor Mrs. Busola Shoyoye, Mr. Kunle and Mrs. Sheung Oniyide, and my one and only brother, Engineer Adeniyi, and his wife, Dr. Mrs. Mojupe Adeshemowo, then Mrs. Anu Akimade, and the last but not the least, Pastor Femi and Mrs. Okwe Oluwa Oderinde. Thank you so much for being part of my journey. I thank the Omemus from Odoni Kingdom of Bayelsa State that have to cross so many rivers to come and marry me in Ogun State. Particularly, I appreciate my parents-in-law, late Prince Arowell Elaye Omemu, and my beautiful, wonderful mother-in-law, Mrs. Bolobere Ogbo Omemu. Thank you so much. I thank Uncle Charles Edike, Mr. and Mrs. Ebimimo Omemu, and Fie Brebino for their constant prayers. I want to thank my husband's siblings, nephews, nieces, and families, particularly those that had played critical role in my journey, right from Mrs. Ladebi Long John, Barrister Peter Omemu, Professor Felix and Barrister Daba Omemu, Engineer Moses Omemu, Barrister Ikare Omemu, and Benatare Omemu, and the others. Thank you so much. So the Adeshemo was from the Orimolusi family of Ijebu Igbo, Omo Orimolusi, Omo Ajoroke, Omo Olufore Sheteje. I say thank you. Thank you so much for being part of my journey. The whole family of Chief Williams Banjo, I said thank you for all you have done and you are still doing. Just to say that this my uncle in Agbada there just passed a week ago. And I say may his soul continue to rest in peace. My uncle and his lovely wife, the wife is here, Barrister Sunday and Chief Mrs. Mojupe Odumosu. Auntie, thank you so much. God bless you. Then their son and his wife, Barrister and Barrister Mrs. Acknowledgments Odumosu. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. Then my cousin, representing the Adebayos here, Architect Wale and Mrs. Shade Adebayo and Remy Adebayo. They are seated somewhere there. Thank you for being here. God bless you. My numerous nieces and nephews, they are too numerous to mention. From Sophia to Arola Ameomi, Thank you for the memories we have created together. I thank all the former Vice-Chancellor of this university who have played critical role in shaping my career, starting from Professor Adebukunola, who employed me in 1995 as a graduate assistant. A special thank you to Professor Omemu for his advice at critical times in my journey. I say thank you so much, sir. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, I would like to make special mention of Professor Oluwafemi, was a former Vice-Chancellor of this university, but is currently the Secretary General of the Association of African University. Professor Yole was actually my go-to lecturer while I was working on my undergraduate project at OSU, and his support throughout my MSc and PhD programs are invaluable. And when I got to a crossroad in my career journey in 2012, he was one of the people that encouraged me and assured me that all would be well. And looking back, I can say that by the grace of God, all is indeed well. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, I also specially appreciate the immediate past Vice-Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako. He is here seated today. Thank you so much for considering me fit to serve as the first female Dean of Student Affairs of this great institution. And also for giving me all the support I needed to function during my tenure. Sir, I am honored to have served in that capacity under your leadership. Thank you so much, and God bless you. And I thank the current Vice-Chancellor, Professor Oluwafemi Babatunde Kehinde, under whom I am serving as a Dean of a college. I also thank you for granting me the opportunity to have this inaugural lecture today. I pray that your tenure will continually be peaceful and progressive. Thank you, sir. I appreciate all the former Deputy Vice-Chancellor. Each of you have contributed immensely to my journey. And while I cannot begin to enumerate each of your contributions, please know that you are deeply, deeply appreciated. Thank you so much. And I thank all the current principal officers, from the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Development, my friend from far, far, far back, the Acting Registrar, thank you for being a good role model, ma. Acting Bossa, thank you for your support, particularly in respect to the cooperative. God bless you, sir. And of course, the university librarian. I appreciate all of you. I extend my gratitude to all my teachers from primary school through secondary school and up to the university. Professor Bafagade, who was my BSc supervisor at OOU, late Professor Iyang Akman, who supervised my MSc, may his soul continue to rest in peace, and my PhD supervisor, Professor Mobolaji Olufumilayo Bamikole, retired. Mama is somewhere there. Mama, as she's fondly called. Your support over the years has been invaluable. You are not just a teacher to me. You are my mentor. You are like a mother to me. And I say thank you so much, ma. God bless you. Thank you so much, ma. I appreciate you, ma. Today, I celebrate all mentors. Mentors are guiding lights who illuminate our paths. They are the pillars of strength who support us through challenges, and the voice of wisdom, inspiring us to reach greater heights. I thank all my mentors, too numerous to mention individually, who has guided me in diverse ways. But specifically, I want to mention Professor Folake Ensho, our own Mama COLFHEC. Your unwavering presence and guidance has been instrumental in my journey, and I deeply cherish and value you. Thank you so much, ma. To all the members of the postgraduate school, beginning with Professor Olusegun Alegbeleye, who was the former dean of PG school, and then Professor Shitu AM, Professor Adebayo, who served as deputy dean while I was there. To say that Professor Adebayo, who is my good friend, is currently the dean of PG school, and I wish you a successful tenure. To all the non-teaching and administrative staff at the PG school while I was there, your contributions behind the scenes are deeply appreciated. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the former deans of student affairs for the excellent work in that unit and for consistently taking out time of their busy schedule to provide me with advice during my tenure. I thank you all. I thank the current dean and deputy dean of student affairs, Professor Festus Adeoshun, and Professor Jekunle. Thank you so much. I enjoyed working with you, Professor Jekunle, and Professor Adeboye Fafiolu is one friend that Student Affairs gave me. I cannot forget your commitment during and after our assignment in Student Affairs. And I say, God bless you. And I wish you a successful tenure as the director of CADES. God bless you, sir. I thank the hostel warden that worked with me, Engineer Dr. Mrs. Kuye, Dr. Pobni, Professor John Abiono, the two student affairs officers that I worked with, Mr. Denino and Mr. Jeremy Adebayo, counseling unit, and the porters led by Mr. Shoneya and Mrs. Showumi. I thank all the student affairs people that worked with me, and I say God bless you so much. I want to appreciate the University Security Unit led by Mr. Peter Bolariwa. Thank you so much. Director of Works, the former Director of Health Services, and the current acting Director of Health Services. Thank you so much. Please, I want to particularly appreciate all the drivers that have worked with me at one time or the other during my journey in this institution. Starting from Mr. Shanusi, Mr. Oje, Baba Odeje, Baba will always call to pray. Mr. Sonny, Mr. Kehinde, Mr. Salisu, also known as Capacity, Mr. Idowu Johnson, Mr. Shorunke, Mr. Taiwo, and my current driver, Mr. Adebowale Kehinde. I appreciate you. Thank you for making my journey easier. God bless you. I acknowledge the entire College of Food Science and Human Ecology family for their unwavering support and dedication. I appreciate all the former deans for laying the foundation for COLFHEC's success. You are all appreciated. To the present Deputy Dean of COLFHEC, Professor Mojisola Adegunwa, thank you for your commitment to the assignment. And I thank all head of departments that are currently serving during my tenure. Dr. Mrs. Kaji Awusa, HOD Food Science and Tech, Dr. Mrs. Bola Lasode, HOD Home Science and Management, Professor H.A. Bakare, my own HOD, and Dr. Ketrin Oladoyibo, HOD Nutrition and Dietetics. Special thanks to the Dean's Office, the team in the Dean's Office, ably led by Mrs. Olubukola Olokode. Thank you. I appreciate your dedication. God bless you. And to my own department, Department of Hospitality and Tourism, I appreciate the dedication of all the other members of that department, from Professor Bakari, our head of department, Dr. Adeboye Adejipe, Dr. Ibrahim Kukoyi, Mr. Lukman Adebanjo, and of course our French teacher who is in GNS, but she used to come and teach our children, our students, culinary French, Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir. And it's worth mentioning at this time that we are in dire need of academic staff in hospitality and tourism. And we pray that God will help you to help us, sir. God bless you, sir. I thank all the other staff in COLFHEC, academic, non-teaching, up to the cleaners. You are appreciated. I extend my gratitude to all the staff of COLBIOS and COLFHEC, which are the two colleges that came out of the former COLNAS where I started my journey. So the Dean of COLBIOS, we have gone way, way back, Professor Kehinde Yabode, and Dean of COLFHEC, Professor Akinwale Taufik. Thank you for all that you do to impact my career. Also to all the staff of the Department of Microbiology, currently headed by Professor Saka Balogun. Thank you and God bless you. I want to particularly mention Professor Olusegun Obadino for his unwavering support. Since 2012 that I joined COLFHEC, Professor Obadino has ensured that I have the opportunity to co-supervise any of his postgraduate students conducting research in my field of specialization. And together, we have co-supervised over 20 MSc and over 10 PhD students. Prof, I am really, really grateful. God bless you. So the entire ASU UNAB cooperative family, thank you so much. To all the former presidents of ASU UNAB, including our current Vice-Chancellor, thank you for laying good foundation for us to build on. We appreciate you, sir. So the current executive member of the cooperative, thank you so much. And the cooperative staff, Mrs. Alade and Mrs. Kola Wole, then the other ESCO, Dr. Egwetade, Dr. Yedele, Professor Ugbaja, and the others. Thank you. I extend my gratitude to ASU UNAB ESCO for their unwavering support and all my colleagues within and outside Funaab. God bless you. I appreciate all other non-teaching staff in Funaab that I've had the opportunity of working with. God bless you. Please, I need to mention this. This group of people, I fondly call them the Mami Gang and their spouses. They have been tremendous. They have been beautiful. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be part of your journey. And I appreciate the love and the bond that we share. Right from Pelumi and Dr. Mrs. Oyinkola Kevin Israel, Dr. Natalia and Dr. Eniola Oni, Dr. Tolu Adeleye, Dr. Aminat Badmos, Architect Koyeja and Dr. Mrs. Beldun Kukoli, Mr. and Mrs. Oladosu, Dr. Ibrahim Kukoyi, and Mr. and Mrs. Lukman Adebanjo, and of course, Mrs. Yemi Idowu. God bless you. To my friends, I've been blessed with beautiful friends, right from Professor the attaches, Pastor Wale and Dr. Mrs. Tosin Dosumu. Pastor Wale has been my friend forever. Dr. Tolu Oboto, Mrs. Kushimo Sumbo, she's somewhere watching. Mr. and Mrs. Professor and Dr. Mrs. Dedeke, the Shodias, Stakevifa Kojuwo, Mrs. Bukola Sani, and Mr. and Mrs. Tolu Alashe Ojo, and the others. God bless you. I use this time to remember these, my friends, who have contributed to my journey, but they've gone to be with the Lord. I pray that their soul continue to rest in peace. I extend my gratitude to all the families of RCCG, Redeemed Christian Church of God, particularly Lagos Province 12, and all the parishes where we have served and we are still serving. Harvest Parish, Fountain of Peace Parish, and our current parish, Amazing Grace Assembly. And particularly, I want to appreciate my zonal pastor, House of Victory Zone, Lagos State, Pastor Femi and Pastor Mrs. Funke Adetoyibo. God bless you, Sam. Thank you so much. I want to appreciate all the members of Jubilee Christian Church of God, where I started my spiritual journey, particularly Pastor Taiwo Shobowale and his lovely wife. God bless you for your support. I need to mention it. I want to appreciate Honorable Justice Abiodun Akinyemi and his family for supporting and encouraging me over the years. Justice Akinyemi has been calling me professor right since maybe when I was lecturer 1. And when I told him about this inaugural lecture, he told me he would be here, and he's here seated today. And sir, I want to congratulate you, sir, on your recent appointment as a Justice of Court of Appeal, right? God bless you, sir. I wish you all the wisdom that you need to do a good job. Thank you so much, sir. To all my students all over the world, thank you for being part of my journey. I appreciate you all. My PhD students, Dr. Yetibo Olubukola Blessing, Dr. Bisilan Loku, and the others, thank you. To the 20,000 physical and metaphysical Funabites that I had the privilege to work with during my tenure as DSA, and even now, thank you. And the SUG from Team Possibility, led by Adiola, Team Revitalize, led by Proverbia, Team Watimagbo, led by Ale Sheyi, Team Credibility, led by Ecology, and the current team, Team Ubuntu, led by Marsh Uwanko. Thank you so much. I thank all the chaplains of the International Christian Chaplain Association, particularly College of Chaplain Chapter, Ogun State, led by Chaplain Sholesi Abiodun and the others. I thank Funaab Boys Brigade, founder and members of Lead Art Initiative for giving me a platform to serve. Thank you. Funaab Guest House, Publication Committee, Ceremonial Committee, thank you so much. David Uteron, I did not give back to you, but you have been my son right from over 20 years ago. Thank you for everything you bring to our family. I acknowledge the blessings of my children. Daniel Oyindepreye Omemu, he's right there seated. Sorry, Engineer Daniel Oyindepreye Omemu. And my one and only daughter, who is unavoidably absent, Esther Ebiere Muyosore Oluwa Omemu. And the twins, who also cannot be here, James Oyinmebi Omemu and John Oyinlaifa Omemu. May God continue to guide you in your unique journeys of life. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, this journey would not have been possible without the unwavering support of my own husband, Pastor Clement Amiefa Omemu, my own Ineye. Your constant encouragement and belief in me have been a source of encouragement to me. They have given me the wings to fly and pursue my dream. May we continue to cherish each other for many more years to come. Finally, Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, allow me to conclude with this timeless saying: life is a journey that is measured not in miles but in moments. I am deeply grateful to each of you for adding vibrant moments to my journey. Thank you, and God bless you. Safe journey back to your various destinations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, you may be seated. Thank you very much. The 90th Inaugural Lecturer, please, I still want you here. Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I want to join the 90th Inaugural Lecturer in thanking and appreciating you for witnessing this inaugural lecture. I thank you all. God bless you. But before we go, in appreciation of this 90th inaugural lecture, I have the honor to present this award to Professor Adebukunola Mobolaji Omemu as the 90th inaugural lecturer of the university, dated this day, Wednesday, 22nd May 2024. Thank you very much for this lecture. We appreciate you. God bless you. Don't go yet. Don't go yet. We also have this for you. And I want to assure you, in this basket we have some food items. These food items have gone through a safe journey from the farm. And we are presenting them to you so that they can get onto the table and to the fork. Thank you very much. Congratulations. God bless you, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that it's been an exciting time considering the journey of food from farm to. Thank you so very much for coming. We really appreciate you. But please, before we go, as a university, we specially appreciate the father and the mother of Professor Mobolaji Adebukunola Omemu. We also congratulate them for witnessing today. So, Sir, Prince Adebenga, and Mommy, can you please rise up for a special appreciation? Please, a round of applause for her parents. Thank you so very much. God bless you, ma. God bless you, sir. We thank you. We thank you. Please, you may be seated. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you. We appreciate you, sir. We appreciate you, ma. Thank you. You may be seated, sir, ma. Congratulations for witnessing today. Congratulations. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the 90th inaugural lecture of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. We thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. And we hope you'll join us at the 91st inaugural lecture of the university. Thank you.
Please, a better round of applause for the Vice-Chancellor. And another one for the 90th Inaugural Lecturer. Truly, if it is not safe, it is not food. We want to take the anthem, so we are taking the national prayer first, to be followed by Funaab anthem. And immediately after the anthem, please, let's quickly take this. The procession will exit the hall in a reverse order through the center aisle. All academic staff to go through exit A by my right-hand side. The non-teaching staff through exit B by my left-hand side. And the guests of the inaugural lecturer should also go through the center aisle and immediately after stepping out the staircase to turn to the conference room 2 by the left for a photograph with the inaugural lecturer, while all students are to remain in the hall. Funaab anthem, followed by the national prayer.
School of farming, science and skill.
the national prayer. Please let's remain standing while the procession files out of the hall in reverse order. And immediately after the procession is out, once again, academic staff go through the exit A by my right-hand side, the non-teaching staff exit B by my left-hand side, the inaugural lecturer's guests. We also follow the center I, and immediately after stepping down the hall, should enter conference room 2. Student Union, please, there's a presentation by Student Union. There's a presentation by Student Union to the inaugural lecturer. That will also be done. And other students, please kindly remain in the hall. Once again, we want to appreciate you all for making our time to be here in the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, for the 90th Inaugural Lecture by Professor Mobolaji Omemu, and titled Safe Journey of Food from Farm to Fork.